A pale young man gazes at the square, seemingly lost in his thoughts. His face and clothes are daubed in what appears to be red paint. Nearby, a canvas sits upon an easel.
I didn't just see it, I witnessed it. Now I must preserve it upon canvas for the generations to come.
He nods, a faraway expression on his face.
The great schism of the Divine Order and the ruination of arcs. This will be my masterpiece. I usually only display completed works, but, well, this painting's raw power is already plain to see. Here, feast your eyes.
He gestures to the canvas. It's completely covered in the same shade of red, layer after layer. It's sodden, dripping onto the cobbles.
You're a dying breed around here, my friend. Nobody has time for art these days. Red is the only shade that matters. Life and death, true passion from within the artist.
He tugs back the sleeve of his tunic to reveal a blood-soaked cloth bandage around his wrist.
It was my father's technique. He was the finest painter of his generation, and he used his own blood for his masterwork. The final panel of The Sacrifice of Lucian. He was also quite the sorcerer. Magic-infused blood can be used to produce the most vivid effects, if you're skilled enough. Self-preservation is a petty concern. I must put the spiritual above the corporeal. I must finish. For the most part. A copy can be seen at the great cathedral here in Arx. I visit frequently for inspiration. But the original panel, the one that my father used his blood to depict Lucian's final sacrifice, was given to Lord Kem a long time ago. He keeps it locked away somewhere in that mansion of his. A masterpiece like that should be on public display for all to see.
She nods a greeting, turns away.
Where are the smells? I miss the smells.
The spirit burns with rage at the carnage wrought on Arx. Rage for the Voidwoken, rage for the Magisters, and rage too for himself and his fellow paladins for failing to see the danger until it was too late. The spirit of an older man observes the nearby painter. He tut-tuts to himself.
That poor boy is wasting his time, walking upon well-trodden paths. I thought I raised him better than that. Did you tell him what you thought of his little picture? Unfortunate, isn't it? He isn't without talent, but he never overcame the fact that he was my son. Of course I am. I painted the greatest works of art that Arx has ever seen. The Sacrifice of Lucian. My opinion is the only one that matters. They are part of a private collection now, Lord Kem's. Perhaps he'll grant you a viewing, but I doubt it. There's a reproduction on display at the cathedral. Not the same as viewing the original, of course, but...
The red-splattered young man paces the square once again, in a state of reverie.
Self-preservation,
I heard that the Paladins have done our magic. Didn't let the reds off.
To Selby. It's no wonder I'm mystery like
Please, you've got to help me. My wife, they want to kill her. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just trying to save lives, but no one will listen. You have to help, please.
Didn't even let the reds off.
Of being a good person. Please, there's no time. They'll kill her. Go!
Dark armor check.
You approach, but the paladin's icy blue eyes never move from his prisoner.
Please, you have to stop this madness. Oh, Divine Lucian, please help us.
You are interrupting a paladin court, stranger.
You couldn't call this a court until the end of days, Kem. It's still a disgrace.
The prisoner will be silent. We are beyond accusations. This once paladin is guilty of refusing orders and protecting supporters of the Black Ring.
They were boys. Local boys that signed up for steady pay in a slick uniform. A couple of white traitors doesn't mean every Magister is in league with the Ring.
At best, you are a coward. At worst, you are a traitor. In either case, the sentence is death.
His icy eyes focus on you for the first time, pinning you with a freezing look.
Step aside, stranger. I see. You have my thanks for that. You did us a great service. Now, if you would do me one service more, stand aside.
Kem pauses for half a moment, his eyes flickering to the troops around him.
Perhaps. Even in war we may find space for mercy. Very well. She will not die today.
The paladin looks at you as Kem turns away and silently mouths thank you.
I fell for her. And the rest of you have your duties. Move.
Oh, by the Divine, thank you. I'll never forget this kindness.
Nothing. Just more Magister rubbish.
What is this? Am I dreaming? I went to my bunk after patrol duties, and now this? I'll wake up in a minute. Winslow's snoring always wakes me. This can't be real.
The spirit wails and babbles incoherently. It's clear she knows. The spirit of a magister jabs a spectral finger into the paladin's wound, while muttering some profane-sounding curse.
I'll do as I please. This paladin filth hacked me down right here in our headquarters. She's going to suffer for what she did to me.
If I was one of your wives, where'd I hide something?
The spirit thinks for a moment, then moves back from the paladin.
Very well. I am done with this world.
Come on. Damn you. Stop bleeding.
The paladin presses a wad of fresh bandages upon a steadily bleeding leg wound. For a moment, it seems to work, but then the bleeding suddenly gets worse.
Damn it. Have you taken leave of your senses? You didn't help me.
The paladin looks up from her wound to give you a look of disdain.
Have you lost your wits? This is a spear wound, plain and... You should have seen the amount of blood I was... But anyway, duty calls. Have you taken leave of your...
This is a waste of time. The Magisters are long gone. There's no... Well, hello again. Welcome to my very, very humble abode. Guess I heard it too. The man has some curious ideas about what constitutes treason. I refuse to raise a hand against fellow members of the Divine Order. Refuse to buy into Kem's lie that they're all Black Ring puppets. It's not just the city. The Divine Order is coming undone at the seams. There's never been much love lost between the Paladins and the Magisters, but this... brawling in the streets... it will be the end of us all. Too many Paladins from noble families, and too many Magisters that started as working folk. Of course, the Paladins were the first recruits of Lucian. So, many saw the Magisters rising through the ranks as a threat to their order. Pig farmers leading lords, they said. But now that some white Magisters have been found colluding with the Black Ring, now that Kim has his excuse, it's war. Kem's always been a hard man. His steel was forged in the war with the Black Ring. But recently there's something else. He's turned cold. Not cruel, exactly, just harsh. Dispassionate to a fault. They say it's the Voidwoken, that he's too worried about Rivellon to worry about people. Maybe that's it. Or maybe years of fighting finally broke him. Your guess is as good as mine. Although, I've heard whispers. There are places in Kem's mansion that nobody goes but him. One has to wonder what he gets up to. I'll see you again, I hope. The company in here lacks a certain charm.
I'm glad this one was let off the hook. I'd rather guard a body than bury a corpse any day.
Stand back there! The Magister's made us stand here and we're still cleaning up.
If you ask me, the Whites fled the moment the fighting began. The cow...
Piss off, Paladin scum. Why? What'll you do? Kill my friends and lock me up? Go and die.
Who are you? Did Lord Kem send you about the missing prisoners? These were no sorcerers. These were thieves and drunkards, imbeciles and liars, heretics and fools. The good people of Arx, in other words. They did not go to Fort Joy. The jailer's records are clear. 564 men and women were signed in, and never signed out again. I'd say this was an oversight in record-keeping, but I know some of those names. And they are nowhere to be found. Be sure that we won't let this lie. This makes no sense. Prisoners can't just vanish.
We don't know.
Find out.
The damn cells were empty. The Magister's arrested hundreds, but they're not here. They're gone.
Prisoners can't just vanish. This makes no sense.
Escapees. We would have noticed.
You are the hand. You are the hand that hurts, the hand that kills, the hand that bleeds them dry. You are the hand that listens to Magister Timort's head. You are the foot. You are the foot that aches to run away, the foot that remembers the feel of grass underfoot so long ago. You are...
Maybe they escaped.
500 escapees? We would have noticed.
Stay back. It's for your own good. Found the undead freak here already chained up by the Magisters. They say she's a witch. I say.
Her voice freezes into a harsh whisper.
I say she's a demon. Creatures like this Windigo. They mask themselves, spread their black magic to children with their songs and stories. Makes me sick. Our little ones, tools of demons. You know this trickster?
Well, go on then. Probably doesn't matter who breaks her, so long as she gets broken. Just keep your head on straight. She'll try to make nice. Creep into your thoughts. Keep her out of there, all right?
That undead witch. Heard her talking about some kind of covenant.
That's the demon's way. They give out promises like sweets, luring the weak.
Go on, be safe.
You remember, don't you? Us dancing together in the daffodils, the fragrant sea of yellow.
No! Hush your lies! I must know your truth, your purpose. What's this? Who are you? I can't deal with any more interruptions today. Give me room, lizard.
She cradles her head in her hands, then pivots towards the prisoner. Her mouth opens, yet nothing spills forth. No sermon, no screed, no threat. She turns back to you and grimaces.
Too late! The spark's been snuffed. I trust you come bearing gold or godhood for me, to have interrupted such a sensitive interrogation. What led to this freak's imprisonment is a mystery as unsolved as the void itself. We found her already caged, cursing the Magisters with hexes vulgar enough to turn even a dwarf's cheeks red. The evil is strong in her. Her words are soaked in it. They squirm into your mind, planting warm memories you've never had, mesmerizing you with candy-sweet sights and scents.
Visions of Windigo's attack on the vessel sailing to Fort Joy fill your head. You look to the cell, and your memories contort and coil. Windigo cradles you in her arms, stroking your head as the waves crash around you. I'm sorry, Buttercup. I was bewitched by his promise. Forgive me. You shake your head and the vision is gone. Your eyes rest not on the prisoner, but on the paladin.
You underestimate her. You'd have me stand idle as she raises arcs to the ground?
In that moment, you hear music, a lullaby. You glance at the cage. Windigo stands silent. You squint and shiver until the melody no longer echoes in your ears.
That was you. You have once turned the tides of this war. You could do so again. I can't just put you at the mercy of this witch's whims. I understand. Perhaps you are as dangerous to her as she is to us. There can be no success without risk. I will give you the space you need, then. May Lucian be your guide. Things are under control. For now.
Let us end this game. Right here, right now.
You reach your hand towards the device, and your inner source is stifled, as if you'd never rid yourself of that cursed collar. You do not have any source to offer. After a bit of tinkering, the machine whines pitifully, and
Come to me, sweet soul.
She steps forward, slowly but confidently. She holds out her hands, bony palms up. They emit no fire, no ice, no curse.
The God King no longer grants me his favour. Mask ripped from me and flesh flayed to bone, because the God-woken still walks Rivellon. Now he's chosen another. I should hate you for what you've done to me, hate you for the hell I've lived. But I hate him so much more. He loved me when I was useful. He cast me out when you failed to die. Go to the new chosen. See that he suffers. See that the God King suffers. In your name and in mine.
This creature, this monster, would have seen us drowned at sea. Kill her!
If the God King has truly abandoned her, then this is our chance to slay her once and for all.
Neither of us are inclined to mercy. Let's make the most of this moment, shall we? The Covenant, it sounded so beautiful. Eternity right there at my fingertips. Yet it's all a lie. There is no grand reward, no enduring prosperity. Just slavery within the void. The rule of a hellish hand. I was so naive. The God King told me I was special. He came close, and then closer still. Hearing him, feeling him, it was like crashing over a cliff and having him catch me over and over. I failed him. You just wouldn't die. Of all his punishments, the harshest was the emptiness, the lack of him. I thought if I could just regain his affection, I might taste it again. I go to Linderkim. He is the God King's current beloved. No more skin in his real bones than on a peeled jackfruit. And it is not only his ear the God King whispers into. The dwarf called Isbale. She bends to the King's every whim. Hem's got a Swornbreaker scythe somewhere in his estate. It'll free me from the Covenant. I'd be mortal, yes, but no longer a slave. The God King. He said if I could find Dallas, eliminate her, I could take my place by his side again. But Kem, he doesn't like competition. All it took was a few whispers. They spread to the Magisters quickly. The Magisters, they've got ways of silencing Source. They knew exactly what to do. The Paladins, well, when they found me, they'd no idea what to make of me. Before you go, I have something for you. Something I learned. A touch of void, if you will.
Windigo pauses. She doesn't speak the next words, yet you hear them as clearly as a robin's song.
Goodbye, Godwoken.
Go ahead, but be careful.
That undead witch had been talking about some kind of covenant.
Nothing. Just more Magister rubbish.
For all the fighting, I never once saw Dallas with the Magisters. The snake is probably cowering in some burrow.
The battle mage looks fed up and frustrated, her hands balled into fists by her sides.
The Whites are long gone. They could be running right out of the sewers while we stand here gabbing.
This fire was set on purpose.
The plaque reads, "Purity of mind."
Look out!
Fools!
I see a
They
trap
aren't
nearby.
looking in the right spot. They'll never find what they want. Careful now. That's a trap. What's this? I found something.
If there was anything important here, the Whites must have surely taken it.
If there was anything important here, the Whites must have surely taken it.
What's this, then? The Paladins resorting to bringing in outsiders to try and decipher my work.
He sneers at you. His spectral form bears impressions of severe burn injuries.
No matter. You'll fail just like them. I was the High Cryptographer of the Magister Order, until the Paladins killed me. Coded letters, passwords, security measures, all my creation. Now that I'm dead, you'll never decipher any of it. My work will outlive you all. My task was to protect secrets, not to interpret them. But let me say this. The notion that we would have anything to do with the Black Ring is absurd. Patently absurd.
The spirit's smug demeanor gives way to an angry scowl.
Desperate measures made necessary by the treacherous actions of our so-called allies. My encryption guards the most important secrets.
A combination lock is embedded into the face of the hatch with 4 numbered dials. A sequence of numbers has been engraved on the face of the mechanism. 1324. Below this are 4 dials. Each of the 4 dials bears 4 phrases that can be rotated into place. The first dial must be set. The second dial has the same 4 phrases to select from. The third dial one last dial remains. Silence. The hatch doesn't budge. The hatch is firmly...
Don't waste your time here. The secrets of this place are protected by some of the finest ciphers ever created. It is safe, but I advise you to leave it be. You'd only be wasting your time to try and decipher it. Varley? No! This is my design. Varley's work is adequate, but he couldn't have devised something like this, with the plaque phrases hiding the...
The spirit catches himself.
But I digress. My only regret is that I won't be able to put Varley's work to shame at the next cryptography symposium.
A combination lock.
Trap. They give it a wide berth.
Engraved on the plaque are the words, "Discipline of Body." The plaque reads, "Purity of Mind." The plaque reads, "Loyalty to the Divine." The plaque reads, "Or..." The plaque reads, "Pure..." Engraved on the plaque are the... A combination lock is embedded, a sequence of numbers, each of the 4 dials. The first dial must be set. The mechanism, the second dial has the same, the third dial bears the same options as before. One last dial, the final dial clicks. Silence. The hatch doesn't, a sequence of each of the first dial must be, the mechanism, the second dial has the same 4 phrases to select. The third dial bears the same options, one last dial remains. Silence. The hatch doesn't budge. Engraved on the plaque are the words, "Discipline of Body." A combination lock is in a sequence. Each of the first dial must be the mechanism. The second dial has the same 4 phrases to select from. The third dial bears the same options as before. One last dial remains. The final dial, silence. The hatch doesn't budge. A sequence of numbers. Each of the first dial must be set. The mechanism, the second dial has the same 4 phrases to select from. The third dial, one last dial remains. Silence. The hatch is a sequence of each of the 4 dials. The first dial must be the mechanism. The second dial has the same 4 phrases to select from. The third dial bears the same options as before. One last dial remains with a silence. The plaque reads, "Purity of Mind." Engraved on the plaque are the words, "Discipline of..." The spirit of a Magister lingers nearby, scowling at the damage that's been dealt to the premises.
Look at this! Just look at this! Our barracks ransacked by our own brothers in arms, and my sworn Magister comrades murdered by them. I got Brant out of here. He was wounded. He wouldn't have stood a chance if I hadn't helped. Hopefully some more made it as well. I came back here to see if I could help any others, but I got a saber through the heart instead. Murdering blue bloods. The Void's welcome to the lot of them. Ah, who knows? Fled, probably. One of them ordered that we fight to the last man and set this place alight rather than let the paladins take it.
The spirit glances around again.
So much for that.
The spirit leans back to appraise you, a guarded look on his spectral features.
You're no paladin, but why should I tell you?
Order of society, the Magisters say. Not much bloody order in this place.
Fine, just check in on him for me, will you? There's a spot around the back, at the bottom of an embankment, where a culvert drains into the river. I lowered him down there where the paladins likely wouldn't see him. He was bleeding like a stuck pig, though. I don't know if he made it.
I found something.
If I was one of those whites, where would I hide something?
Be grateful that you don't feel the need. The spirit of a Magister stands before you. He has one hand pressed to his abdomen. Silvery spectral blood oozes from between his fingers.
It shouldn't hurt anymore, but it does. I swear it does. Tell me, have you seen a Magister named Winslow? Stout fella, a little loud. He helped me escape when the Paladins attacked. I'd hate to think any harm came to him. I don't rightly know. The Paladins came, intent on ransacking the barracks. The fighting started so quickly. Before I knew it, I was wounded, and Winslow was hauling me away. He said he'd come back soon, and we could escape into the sewers. But that was the last I saw of him. Winslow and I came across it while we were looking into some inmates who went missing from the prison. I doubt anyone will figure out what happened to them now. I don't think the Paladins care about that kind of thing.
The spirit continues to stand by and scowl at the ransacked barracks.
Out the rear door there. Then look over the edge by the wall. The paladins just showed up. Are you mad?
The spirit of a Magister stands before you.
It shouldn't hurt anymore. Tell me, have you seen a Magister named Winslow? Stout fella, a little loud. He helped me escape when the paladins attacked. Dead? Damn it! Damn it to the void! Winslow deserved better than that. I don't rightly know. He said he'd come back soon. Winslow, I doubt it.
The statue reaches toward the sky, as though the bottom drops out.
This looks like the cargo of the Peacemaker. Mordus was right. The cargo was destined for Arx.
I know where they've sheltered. Don't let the illusions fool you. We're...
So look at you! Another jumpersaw here to join the circus, hmm? Eight-legged mummies, crate dwarves, lousy children. What else would you call it? Spiders as big as your head. No, bigger. And they'll grow a baby inside you if you're not very, very, very careful. What's to tell? A noisy gang of dwarves dragged an excessively large gang of crates in, and neither one ever left. Rude. Sneaky, oily, lousely kids dip in and out of here all the time. I ought to set out traps, see what I catch.
A city and its people can be measured by the number of children in its sewers. Maybe some children belong in the sewers.
A little girl looks you square in the face. She doesn't smile, she doesn't frown, and she sure as hell doesn't look shy.
Olivia's silly. You don't. I need to think about this.
She thinks about this.
Now that you're here, can't very well leave. Suppose you told someone. Nah, that wouldn't do. Nah, you'll just have to die. Get my troll to do it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. The troll will fix it. And then you'll be dead. Well, maybe. We'll see. But you'd better be good. Hey, got any money?
It's a catastrophe. What do you say when a cat eats the dog show? That's right. You're fun. I like you. He's my friend. I like him too. But he has a terrible sense of humour. And he eats cats. Oh, he's not tame. He's not tame at all. I don't think so. Trolls don't like grown-ups. Anyways, I'm not in charge. Tamora's in charge. We all do what she says. Bye then.
Hello?
Did you hear about the cat that lost all its money?
That painting is definitely unique.
Hello? Got any more money? My daddy once said, don't go to the toilet on your own doorstep. Then my mum chased him away for going in the bedroom. Them crates belong to dwarves. We leave them alone, the crates and the dwarves. They're our friends. Pom-Pom can talk to him. They're not very clever, but she says they're nice. Yeah, it's alright. That's for me to know and you to never find out. I stole it from Lord Kem's house, didn't I? And so what? I only took one of them. The other two were too heavy. Got a map. There's a pulley thing here. And then a pool with no water and a hatch in it. Easy. Yeah. No. Okay, you can have it for this much. Take the stupid painting then. I never liked it anyway.
Thanks.
What do you say when a cat wins the dog show? It's a catastrophe. It's a catastrophe. 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 It's a catastrophe. Never mind.
trap nearby.
Bound and blindfold, you are dragged through the darkness, The stench tells you you're in the sewers. Your dwarven captors are silent, but then a skittering, as of blades tapping on stone. Your captors stop, unsure. Screams rend the darkness, silence falls, and then that sound again. Sticks dancing on stone. You tear the blindfold free, then wish you hadn't. The giant spider looms over you, its jaws close upon your face.
There's enough death fog here to kill everyone in Arx. Fasten tight.
If I were the Queen of Rats, maybe I'd have a best friend who secretly wanted me dead too. Dwarfs have all the fun.
A guard rushes in front of you, and before you can flinch, the point of a sharp spear draws a bead of blood from the artery in your neck.
Halt! State your name. Now!
Oh, for goodness sake, woman, lower your spear. That is no way to greet a guest.
Isbiel, I've not known you to be so welcoming to strangers.
Have I yet to disappoint your highness in matters of security?
Your Majesty?
Do as she says. Lower your spear.
Yes. Of course, my queen. I'm watching you. One misstep and I will have your head.
At this most sensitive hour.
Your Highness, Bloom of Duna, Flame of the Forge, I present to you the marked assassin, Sabil.
Queen Justinia sucks in her cheeks, then offers you her unwavering hand. The Queen bids you rise with an upwards flick of her hand.
An audience is granted. I am yet too intrigued to give my leave. Now tell me, Isbiel, why do you allow this woman before me?
My queen, the elven specimen before you is a godwoken, a claimant to the divine throne.
The Queen wrinkles her face and gives Isbael a sideways glance. Isbael's red-brown eyes meet her gaze head-on.
Many have laid claim to Lucian's legacy, including his own inferior spawn. I presume our visitor has more than a vague title to boast of.
She has escaped the island prison to which the Order confined her, a feat deserving a modicum of respect.
A refugee from the Joy, then. Impressive. Few avoid the Magister's watchful eyes. Can this God-woken declare other triumphs, Isbiel?
Isbael returns to her review of your adventures.
The godwoken arrogated the Lady Vengeance, the very vessel that terrorized the high seas under the Hammer's command.
The Queen's eyes grow wide, and she nods appreciatively, then looks to Isbael to continue the ovations.
It is good and right that you mourn the dead, Godwoken, but do not let your sorrow linger. Many a good warrior has buried her courage along with the dead. Look ahead, not behind.
I am consort to Her Royal Highness Justinia. It is my business to know who serves the Queen's allies and abets her enemies. You do not roam this land unnoticed, elf. Now, let us continue. I've no more of your accomplishments to announce. If I didn't know better, I'd think you almost vain. Well, I see no reason to mince words, Godwoken. You're here to die.
Isbiel, whatever's gotten into you? Malodorous it may be, but this is still a court, not a gallows.
Your Majesty, the Godwoken is no ally, but enemy. She would throw your plans in disarray. You have worked so hard. Arcs must fall to the death fog.
We are at war. I don't relish knowing there will be civilian casualties, but they are necessary. The order soon comes for the Dwarven Kingdom. Consider it a preemptive strike.
Your Majesty, this course is wise. The Queen needn't explain it to one who would see it all undone.
What? Nonsense. It cannot be.
Oh, but you're a clever one, Godwoken, aren't you? Fine. You've outed me. But it doesn't matter. You can't stop the death fog. The wheels are in motion.
Isbiel?
Shut your royal maw, Justinia. Arcs will fall and your memory writ. They will believe it was your will, your plan, your command.
The royal guards unsheath their blades and point them not at Isbael, but at the Queen.
I think you have your answer.
You blink yourself awake to the cold gaze of 1,000 stones and the hot gaze of the dwarf Isbael.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Guards, arrest Isbael. She is no child of Duna.
The guards unsheath their blades and point them not at Isbael, but at the Queen.
I'm afraid I have other intentions.
You blink yourself awake to the cold gaze of 1,000 stones and the hot gaze of the dwarf Isbael, right hand of the Queen.
Oh, good. You're awake. Yeah, at first I figured I'd just kill you. But then I thought, Isbael, you're wasting an opportunity here. Don't bother thanking me just yet, though. I dare say you'll be begging to die before long. So I'll start with lesser toxins, just to see how you react, and take it from there. How strong a dose can a godwoken handle? How long does it take for one to succumb? So many questions.
Your lips open, but no words spill forth. You try to lift your head, but it is no match for gravity. She has paralyzed you. Only your eyes are free to move.
Don't fight it. You'll only make things worse. Oh, but I've been so rude. You should know the real me. Oh, it's good to give myself a rest. Those masks can be darned pesky.
Every ounce of energy within you evaporates. You have no more control over your own source than you do of your flaccid body. Isbael shakes her head at you. Tut, tut.
Do try to relax. The harder you fight, the harder the experiment will be on you. Oh, that dose proves quite alarming for my normal subject. Let's try a new approach, shall we?
The attempt is futile. Every inch of your body is useless, though your senses still register every sight, sound, and smell.
Let's see now. I have just the thing. Just a spritz, mind you.
You struggle to move, and you feel your toes wiggle, and your fingers twitch. The paralysis is waning.
Interesting. Some of the results are quite unexpected. Ah, let's move on to death fog. Live or die, you've already proven most... Well, I was going to say useful, but perhaps entertaining is the better word.
Isbael turns the valley, but no fog wafts forth. In that moment, you feel your bones and muscles awaken. You've regained control of your body at last.
What's wrong with it? Guard! Come! The Godwoken's broken free of my spell!
I've got to get out of this death trap.
Glory is mine.
bad dwarf. Now, to find Queen Justinia.
You look at your companions in shock. Black Ring influence or not, the enormity of the Queen's plan is revealed, to kill everyone in the city.
An eye for an eye is all well and good. Thousands of eyes for an eye is somewhat of an exaggeration.
You can't fight darkness with darkness. You just can't. Whatever she intended, the end result will be more death and destruction.